Now details of the anterior abdominal wall. Here we can see this part of the body is known as the abdomen. The anterior part of this abdomen is from the xiphoid process to the symphysis pubis. This is the anterior median line. But the posterior medial line is from this lumbar vertebra to this coccyx. This is a little bit smaller than the anterior median line. And the lateral side, it has the wide area from this part to this part. But in the posterior part, there is the hip bone. It reduces the area of this abdomen. And in the superior lateral part of this abdomen, in this area, this part of this abdomen is formed by the costal margin. Here we see this is the 7th costal cartilage, this is the 8th, this is the 9th, and this is the 10th. So this costal margin is formed by 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th costal cartilages. They fuse with on another. The 10th is fused with 9th, 9th is fused with 8th, 8th is fused with 7, and they finally unite in this xiphoid process, and this area is known as the costal margin. And the area here, the two costal margin fuses this part in the xiphoid process. Here is the xiphoid process, and this is known as the subcostal angle. This is known as the subcostal angle. Sometimes it is known as the infrasternal angle. So this is the subcostal angle, this is the costal margin, and the lowest point of this costal margin, we can see this is formed by the 10th rib. This is the 10th costal cartilage. And we know that there is a line that passes through the pylorus of the stomach. This is known as the transpyloric line. This transpyloric line passes through the upper border of the 9th costal cartilage. But in the lower border of the 10th costal cartilage, there is a line. This is known as the subcostal plane. Subcostal plane. In this bony framework, here is the first lumbar vertebra. The transpyloric line passes through the first lumbar vertebra, but subcostal line passes through the third lumbar vertebra. So be cautious about these two planes. What is the transpyloric plane and what is the subcostal plane? Subcostal plane below the 10th costal cartilage, and transpyloric plane is above the 9th costal cartilage. These are the subcostal plane and subcostal angle. Do not confuse with this subcostal plane with this subcostal angle. Here is the subcostal angle and here is the subcostal plane. Now we can see the iliac bone. This is the hip bone. This part of the hip bone is known as the ilium. So here we know that there is the anterior superior there is the anterior superior iliac spine. There is the anterior inferior iliac spine. Here is the tubercle. Here is the tubercle of the anterior superior iliac spine, and here you see the transtubercular line passes through this tubercle to the tubercle, and it passes through the 5th lumbar vertebra. This is the 5th lumbar vertebra. And along with this, here is the symphysis, pubis symphysis, and here is the pubis bone, and this is the pubic tubercle. There is a ligament that connecting the anterior superior iliac spine to the pubic tubercle. Here we see this is the anterior superior iliac spine, and here is the pubic tubercle. This is the connection of these two bony landmark is done by a ligament that is known as the inguinal ligament. And the medial end of the inguinal ligament, there is the spermatic cord, In the anterior part of the abdomen, we can see there is the midline. Here is the midline, and midline we can see there is a line, and this line is white line. This is known as the linea alba. In this linea alba is extending from the xiphoid process to the symphysis pubis, and in between there is a umbilicus. We can see here the umbilicus is at the level of the third and fourth, in between the third and fourth lumbar vertebra. Here is the umbilicus, and the side of the linea alba midline there are two semilunar lines. This is known as the linea semilunaris. This connecting from the pubic tubercle to the ninth costal cartilage. This is on linea semilunaris. This is another linea semilunaris. This linea semilunaris is the lateral border of this rectus muscle. Here you can see this is the rectus abdominis muscle. This is the rectus abdominis muscle. Here is the 7th, 8th, 9th. Here, from here we can see there is the lateral border of the rectus abdominis, and this is the pubic tubercle. So this line is the linea semilunaris, and here we see this is the rectus